Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Today, I want you to say yes more. Say yes to new experiences. Say yes to invites with friends. Say yes to doing things outside of your comfort zone. And the reason why I say this is because I want to actually tell you why you should be saying yes in the form of one of my own experiences that I've teased on stream a little bit. I've talked about some of my time in St. Petersburg, Russia, the most western city, major city in Russia, and the most westernized as well, I believe. And what an experience that was. Now, I'm not going to tell you everything about what happened in Russia just yet, but I'm going to tell you about how I actually ended up in St. Petersburg, Russia. So it was the winter of 2019. I had just finished up 2 months working at a summer camp in New York State in the US. What an absolutely incredible time. But after that, I was heading over to Sweden, Lund, Sweden, so south of Sweden, to do my semester abroad university exchange. And how I came about that opportunity was that I was fortunate enough to win a scholarship, one of 10 in the country that provided. It was a full ride scholarship that gave me everything for my university studies, but in addition also gave me money to go and study abroad. It was as part of this scholarship program, it required me to study abroad. And so what an amazing opportunity I was provided, and what an amazing opportunity that I took. And so decided to go south of Sweden to Lund to see what Sweden had to offer. Now, while I was at Lund, I so many stories while I was there. But while I was there, I actually became really good friends with a group of Dutch guys. Now, these Dutch guys, they had gone to all the usual spots. They'd gone to Spain and Germany and France and everywhere in between, right? So they wanted to go somewhere interesting while we were, studying abroad in Sweden, even though the coursework wasn't super hard or daunting. We never really went to class. We just kind of had a good time, traveled around. And one of the days they said, I remember we were sitting around just having some beers late one night. And one of the guys said, hey, what do you think about going to St. Petersburg? And all the guys kind of looked at it and they're like, actually, you know what? Fuck it. Let's go to St. Petersburg. And in that moment, I honestly did not know what St. Petersburg was. I really had no idea. Like in that moment, I was a little bit confused as well. So why everyone looking at it weird? I was like, St. Petersburg. I thought, actually I had no idea where that was before actually going there. And they mentioned that we'd have to get on a ferry. We'd have to, I think they said, fly over to Estonia. We'd have to go over to Estonia and then get on a ferry. And I was like, okay, we're just taking a short ferry ride over to Estonia. Like, that's not that big of a deal. Doesn't sound that out of the blue, off the beaten path, so to speak. And boy, how I was wrong. So we end up agreeing to go to St. Petersburg. I remember I jump on the ferry to Estonia, or like a cruise liner that we took to Estonia. It was a very, very cheap one. It was big, but it was so hot the air conditioning wasn't working. Everybody there was also speaking Russian, which I thought was kind of weird. And genuinely, I was like, oh, okay, they're speaking Russian. Okay, I know we're going over to Estonia, but like every single person there working, at least, and also just as guests, was speaking Russian. Anyway, we take the cruise liner over to Estonia. We spend a day there, and then we jump back on the cruise. And at this point, I still hadn't clocked where we were going. I had literally no idea that we were going to be going to Russia. Fortunately, I brought my passport because I think I required it to get into Estonia. But we spend the day in Estonia, and then what happens is we come back to the port, right, where they dropped us off for the day, and everybody kind of passes through the immigration. So we're going through this immigration line, and all the European citizens, all the EU, all the people with EU passports are kind of flying by. I know the Russia's not really involved in the EU, but all the people with EU passports are flying by. There weren't really any Americans, and there were definitely no Australians there. And so the lady managing and checking my passport, she was taking a long time to check my details, to see if they were correct, to check if I had the visa to enter St. Petersburg. And at that point I asked her, I was like, I noticed all my other friends have gone by, like the cruise is going to take off very shortly, like I need to get this immigration form. and I get the stamp or whatever on my passport. And I was like, hey, where is St. Petersburg? And honestly, I think she thought I was joking with her because she kind of looked at me a little bit weird. She also might have taken some offense because I don't know. She just didn't. I guess I didn't rub her the right way. She didn't rub me the right way. And she looked at me weird and she's like, she's like, Russia. And in that moment, I was like, okay, what have I just done? Like, firstly, how could I be such an idiot to not know or even search up the place we were going? But also, what a wild and exciting adventure am I going to have in Russia of all places? Never did I plan to go to Russia when I decided to go study abroad in Sweden. Never had I planned to take a cruise liner that had no air conditioner working, where everyone spoke Russian, where it was hot, where there were bugs in the room, just to go to a city I had never heard of. Never had I planned that before. And so to those watching, all I have to say, yes, this is an extreme example, but say yes to more things. Now, maybe this could have gone bad. Maybe we could have gone to some other country. Who knows where St. Petersburg is? Like, I didn't know in that moment, but I'm saying that I was around good people, trusted their judgment to some degree. And sometimes in this life, you just have to say yes, especially if you're lonely and by yourself and you want to get out there more. Say yes to more opportunities. How you find balance in life is actually by saying no. You have to say no to commitments, to people trying to pull on your attention and time and energy. But if you have nothing else going on, say yes to more opportunities. If you want to meet more people, you have to say yes. You have to say yes first before you can say no and pull back. That's just the introduction to my time and my kind of introduction to Russia. What actually happened on the Russian trip is absolutely wild. There are late nights, limousines, champagne on the river. There's of course girls too, and Russian food. Arguments in a KFC. It's just wild, absolutely wild. And I would love to share it in the next parts. If you're interested in hearing the rest of the story, let me know in the comments, and I'm happy to break it up into parts and talk you through exactly what happened in Russia in 2019. Cheers, and wherever you are, whatever time it is, be great today.